like having something in front.
Okay. I gotta see more. Yeah, sure. I'll take a sip real quick. Let me grab a pen. Can you give it to me?
Shabbat Shalom. Let's do that one more. I page 10 for Hinei Matov. Hinei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Hinei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Matov u'manayim
shevet achim gam yachad.
Hinei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat Shalom. It is wonderful to be together and to also welcome back Aiden Mayers, a talented musician and a song leader and prayer leader. Aiden was with us a year ago, and truly wonderful to welcome you back. Those of you who might not know, Aiden is also related to the Watsky-Gottlieb family, so that makes you family here at Beth David. So please join, as always, in music with our voices, with our prayers as we welcome in Shabbat. We're just going to stay in that welcoming mode, leaving our week behind, moving into Shabbat. So we're going to go back to that opening nigun, back to that melody without words, and adding the words on page 16. Page 16, these are words from Psalm 98. And the English means sing praise to Adonai with lyre and melodious song. We sing out to God again with our voices in praise.
Try that nigun one more time. Yai, yai, dai, dai. Yai, yai, dai, dai, dai. Ai, yai, ai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, yai, dai, dai, dai. Ay, 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 ay. We'll do that one more time. Why not? Oh, ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Zamru Ladonai, Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Zamru Ladonai, Zamru Ladonai Bechinor Bekol Zimra. Oh, yai, 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 yai,
And I promise we'll have many familiar melodies tonight, as well as learning some new melodies from Aiden. And we're going to turn back now to pages 2 and 3. It's an honor to invite Renee Goldberg to light our Shabbat candles, to bless our Shabbat candles this evening as we bring in the light of Shabbat.
O source of life and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and in our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their heart. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'havik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shalom. Baruch
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat.
Let's read together on page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. And we'll continue with Shalom Aleichem as we bring in the Shabbat messengers of peace, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem LeShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzeitam LeShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch. We'll turn back to page 20, especially for the tenor men out there who struggle with my alto keys. You're in good company tonight with Aiden. You can sing out. So you all know I love to learn new Jewish melodies, and I told Aiden I really want to learn a new Lechadodi to add to our mix. So page 20, we'll join in our usual verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on that last verse, if you're able, we'll rise to bring in, to welcome in Shabbat.
and we're going to try to learn a new melody.
So we'll do it back and forth like twice. Only twice, though, I promise. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Try that lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. We'll repeat that one more time. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat. We go up. Nikabela. Try that from the top. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Shmor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad v'shem tiferet v'litchila. Lecha lecha dodi Nikrat Shabbat mechuven elcha kichi mekor haberacha. Nirosh mekedem nesucha sov ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Tori kiva orech kumi ori uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayech nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'b'toch olam. Toch emunei am segula bo kala lecha likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Penei Shabbat nikabela.
And we'll remain standing and turn to page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish. Hopefully we'll hear that Lecha Dodi melody again. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולם ימיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקדושה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ויאמרו amen. Page 28, we begin our call to prayer with words in English that invite us to be present here in this moment.
Am I awake? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Am I? Are you listening? Are you listening to my prayers?
To my prayer.
My voice. Can you hear my voice? Can you understand?
Understand.
Am I awake?
Am I awake?
Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai,
Let's join together in our blessing for creation, page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. And let's continue together in the English on page 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu
Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevon Malchuto Leolam Avad. Please be seated as we continue on page 36, our prayer that reminds us to love God, to add more love with our hearts, our souls, and our might. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לפניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. And let's read together on page 41. Sing the song of men and women, join in understanding and respect the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. We join in our ancient song of redemption, our ancient song of hope for peace and freedom. Mi chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלך, נורא תהילות אוסף אלך אדוני לא לעולם ועד. חרה ובניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני לא לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We continue to pray for peace, especially peaceful nights in darkness. Join in Hashkivenu on page 42 and going to be sharing a little bit later some reflections from the march in Washington, D.C. I will say there was a surprise appearance at the very end by Matisyahu with the words you'll find on this page. It was not planned in the program, but he added his song, One Day, which we've often sung here, overlaying with Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim Ufortitenu Uvoenu Lechaim Ushalom Me'ata ve'ad olam. Sometimes I lay under the moon and I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people who say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
One day, one day. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Continue to rejoice in our gift of Shabbat each week, page 44.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. Oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. בששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם.
We'll move into our tefillah, beginning together in the Hebrew and taking a few moments to add our own private prayers, page 46. We rise in body or in spirit. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech v'rofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechaya, Umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, El HaKadosh. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. I invite you to continue silently to offer the prayers from your hearts, and feel free to be seated when you're ready. We are especially emphasizing prayers for peace, for shalom, for wholeness in the midst of brokenness. Page 60.
Shalom Ahava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Ahava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. אתה הוא מלך אדום לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדום לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, חסים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, חסים לעולם. בטוב עיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We'll turn our thoughts now to health and healing. You can find the words for Misha Berach on page 253. And before we join in the Hebrew and share names from our community, we once again add this prayer, Misha Berach, for the redemption of those who were taken captive from Israel. Our God, the one who raised Joseph up from the pit, be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. Send rescue and redemption to all those held captive. Strengthen their spirit and bring them our prayers that they be protected from harm. Implant understanding in the heart of the enemy that they may return the captives in wholeness of body and spirit. Grant wisdom to the Israel Defense Forces that they may secure freedom for the captives without loss of life. Grant strength of spirit and courage of heart to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar to release the bonds of captivity and allow us all to live in freedom. Amen. We pray for these members of our community who are ill: Colin Monroe, Enrico Mascaro, Annette Zerachian, Benjamin Horowitz, Bradley Dichter, Mateo Goldman, Asya Rushavskaya, Eileen Arnone, Jean Sands, Tom Fiorino, Jerry Spingarn, Beth Gottlieb, Joseph Sands, Ethel Sharanow, Rhea Rebecca, Ida Kublin, Peter Lawrence, Sarah Bat David Vyosefia, Alan Aflito, Rosalind Slifka, Peggy Monroe, Phil Shapiro, Shayna Mannheimer, Sandy Grassfield, Richie Berg, Dorothy Lewis, Linda Wilson. If there are other names, you may share them with us.
מי שבירך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Yishebeirach imotenu mekor habracha ve'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body
the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom again. Thank you, Aiden, for adding much ruach, spirit, and music into our service. So I read this week a message that my old Jewish summer camp friend and now professor, Dr. Jonathan Golden, wrote, and he taught for many years at Gann Academy. He now works for the Shalom Hartman Institute. He works out of an office here in Boston, and he's dedicated his life to Jewish learning and teaching. I've known him since I was 12 years old. Very brilliant. He wrote this week about a paradigm for Jewish understanding, which he terms the heart, head, and hand of Jewish understanding. The heart meaning how we feel about something, how we emotionally react to something. The head meaning how we think about something, process an issue, struggle with something. And the hand, what we want to do about it. It seems to me, since October 7th, we've all been holding so much emotion, raw emotion in our hearts. Maybe about a week in or 2 weeks in, I started getting lots of questions about trying to understand. Again, how did we get here? How come I missed many years of Israeli history and had many people asking what books to read? And when the news from the march in D.C. this week came out, over less than 24 hours, Rabbi Micah and I decided this is our hand, this is our opportunity to do something. Thank you to Beth David for surviving without me for 2 days, and we decided this was more important than what our kids would be learning in school. This would be a way to learn hands-on for them. And so we jumped in the car, really, and started to drive. I learned this week that Rabbi Zub attended the March for Soviet Jewry in our nation's capital in 1987, the last time that so many Jews stood together on the National Mall until this week. Learning this, I was especially glad to continue the Beth David tradition of rabbis marching when Rabbi Mike and I decided to join this Tuesday. We, of course, us rabbis and Jews are also following in the footsteps of really thousands of years of Israelites marching through the wilderness to seek freedom, and of course, rabbis of our time, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who described marching with Martin Luther King as praying with his feet. Thinking back to that rally for Jewish freedom 36 years ago, it was especially poignant that Natan Sharansky, back then known as Anatoly, was the first invited guest to speak. As crowds chanted, "Let my people go and bring them home," Sharansky's presence made clear that this too is a moment for Jewish people to stand in support of one another in the face of another tyrannical, violent regime. It is estimated that nearly 300,000 people attended this march for Israel, this march to demand the return of the hostages, and this march to stand together against rising anti-Semitism. For our family and many others, the march actually started earlier than 1 o'clock on Tuesday. The buses and their passengers were a microcosm of the many types of Jews who were drawn to the march. We found ourselves at a rest stop in New Jersey along with a full bus of yeshiva men. It's the first time in my life that I had a shorter wait in the restroom than the rest of my family. True story. I came out, I'm like, what is taking them so long? Sure enough, there was, with the busload of yeshiva men, there was a line in the men's room. The march started from this time we stepped onto the metro from Bethesda, Maryland, into the city with voices that spontaneously started singing Am Yisrael Chai in the middle of the metro. Once in DC, the full Jewish spectrum was on display. You could see all denominations, right wing, left wing, a sea of Israeli flags, some rainbow flags, photos of the hostages, signs of support, political messages across the spectrum, messages of peace, and even a few humorous signs. My favorite was, say no to Hamas and yes to hummus. There were some incredibly inspiring speakers and others that I did not agree with. I was personally particularly moved by CNN political commentator Van Jones, Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt, and Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries. You can listen to all the full speeches on the live stream, and if you do, you'll probably hear better than we could hear, surrounded by the crowds on the mall. I'll share just a few brief highlights that spoke to me. Van Jones opened with a question. "Why am I here?" he asked. And his answer, because of the horror, the terror, the shockwaves from this horrific, unprecedented attack against the Jewish people. Because I cannot be silent, he said. He reminded the crowds how the Jewish community stood with the civil rights movement, walking arm in arm, even facing death. I cannot be silent when Jews are falling under attack today. That is why I am here. And he spoke with emotion, saying, my heart breaks for all the Israeli children, the Palestinian children, and the Jewish American children living in fear. His concluding words, you are not alone. Lipstadt passionately reminded us that we are all united in the fight against the ugly face of anti-Semitism that has emerged above ground in the past 37 days. Groups that agree on nothing else agree on their hatred of Jews, she said. She reassured the crowds that we have faced this before and we will overcome. Quote, Jews are strongest at their broken places. And Jeffries invoked a somber litany of the moral case for Israel as he reflected on centuries of Jewish persecution, Jews violently expelled from Jerusalem to Rome, Alexandria, France, England, Spain, European countries, Middle Eastern countries, the systemic murder by the Nazi regime. To chants of never again, he repeated the message of standing together and the refrain, you are not alone. I was also moved by the passionate speeches by college students, young people who raised their voices with Jewish pride as they faced a sea of their peers raging against them on social media and on campus. Their young voices came crystal clear through the crowds. And there were the very emotional voices of mothers and siblings of hostages who moved the crowds to tears and shouts of support. But ultimately, as I look back on the day, the march was not really about the speakers. In fact, the stronger point was presence. Showing up at the last minute in the face of all that has happened in such a short time, the massacred Jews in towns and kibbutzim, the 240 hostages held in Gaza, the apologetics for terrorism against Jews, and the silence of far too many. There was a strong feeling of Jewish community and family. As my colleague, who also taught here as a scholar in residence, Rabbi Neil Gold, noted, there was a feeling of Klal Yisrael, Jewish unity in the air. While it is sad that such a tragic crisis has brought a fragmented Jewish community together, the truth is, it has brought us together. At times, the march felt like a big Jewish summer camp reunion, a game of Jewish geography, or bingo, if you saw the bingo card that was sent around social media to find different people and, visit a porta potty and things like that. Literally in these huge crowds, it was impossible to meet up with anyone intentionally. There was zero cell reception. But sure enough, our whole family, we turned around and Micah and I saw old friends from summer camp. Our kids saw other kids from Camp Grossman, from Camp Yavna. It was a big reunion. Saw rabbinic colleagues that I haven't seen since rabbinical school. There was power in that emotion that's hard to put into words, and the music component of the program also hit that emotion. Uplifting and energizing music. My favorite, Yishai Ribo, we sang, Israeli musician, we sang one of his songs during our High Holy Days. He has a unique ability to put modern thought and expression into kind of a combination of ancient Hebrew words and new melodies. Speaking of the music component, I will share that the crowds were much more visibly Orthodox. Now, some of that is because Orthodox Jews tend to be more visible by what they wear. Black hats, black coats, black kippot, tzitzit, fringes that are out, the women in long skirts and head coverings. But even with that visible, I would say it was much harder to spot the Reform Jews and other Jews from liberal denominations. Many whole communities, day schools from the Orthodox movement made that effort, and it's in some ways easier for them because they didn't have to miss, public school or even their work because they might be working with other Jews of similar background. Very visible presence, and I will just say throughout the entire day from start to end, I only saw 2 other women wearing kippot. I was there with my rainbow kippah in a sea of Orthodox Jews, not a single comment or question, maybe a few odd looks, but full support. And interestingly enough, looking at our family, our kids do not wear kippot out, and Rabbi Micah, because it was a beautiful, sunny, warm day, he was very concerned about getting a kippah tan on it, so he actually wore a hat. So I was the only one in our family with my rainbow kippah on. And I will say that I am very glad that our family decided to register for the march through the Union for Reform Judaism. We could have done so through CJP, Boston groups. We were able to seek out the Reform movement, and actually I did bring a show and tell for all of you. So, yes, these made it back, walking through the streets of DC after the march, through the metro, and in our car trip home. So the Reform movement had 2 different signs. Reform Jews demand bring the hostages home. And again, URJ defining the path together, as well as I am a Reform Jew. For the sake of Zion, I will not be silent, a prophetic quote from the prophet Isaiah. We felt especially proud to be able to hold this up high. There's unfortunately a bit of a misconception in the general Orthodox world that Reform Jews are less knowledgeable when it comes to Torah and Bible and text. I will say I did not see a single other denomination holding up a biblical text quote. And as well as the notion that we as Reform Jews, Zion can mean many things. Zionism can mean many things. And for us to hold this sign meant truly that we were not being silent, that we were adding our voices to the conversation. So we were very proud to hold up these signs, and again, to join with other more liberal voices that were present that may have been harder to see, but they were definitely there. Lastly, I'll just say, especially in our circle of Reform Jews that we were able to find, there was very mixed emotion. Again, mixed in terms of all of the multiple perspectives that we, in some ways, as liberal Jews, are asked to hold, a little bit more so than others, celebrating our Jewishness, thinking about our humanity, holding the balance of Jewish power and Jewish vulnerability, thinking about justice and morality. As Reformed Jews, we truly do follow in the spirit of the Talmud that affirms these multiple opinions and perspectives. There is one thing that was clear to me from the march that I took away, and it actually comes back to Van Jones' question, why am I here? And it comes back to this week's Torah portion, Toldot, which begins with a very similar question asked by Rebecca. After struggling with becoming pregnant, she becomes pregnant with twins, eventually Jacob and Esau, and the twins are struggling within her. In the opening of the Torah portion, she cries out to God, Im ken lama ze anochi. If this is the case, why lama ze anochi? Why me? Why am I here? This question frames, I think, how hard it feels to be Jewish right now, especially with the newest statistic of anti-Semitism rising by 400% since October 6th. So I would answer the question as follows. We are here because we are proud to be Jewish, and we are here to especially say that we are not alone. Over the last few weeks, I've heard from countless Temple members, many children who've said they feel alone in the towns that we're all living in, the towns that Beth David draws from, where Jews are such a small minority, in the public schools, where most of our kids are the only Jewish kid in their classes. And I will tell you, I have felt that feeling of aloneness as well, and at that march was the first time that I did not feel alone. Some of it was hugs from friends, some of it was the proximity of tons of strangers around, because it really wasn't a march, you couldn't move, it was just packed. That feeling of hundreds of thousands of Jews who were able to insist by our presence that we are not going to abandon the Jewish people, that we are not going to abandon our Israeli brothers and sisters. That message of not being alone, I take back for myself, and I take back for all of you, because it was very, very present. And I will just also share, as a Jewish leader, and many other rabbis and leaders have said this, and I think we all have felt it individually, the weight of these, this past month, the burden of responsibility of somehow explaining or educating others. It was the first time that I felt like some of that weight had been lifted, that it was truly shared by everyone there. And yes, the last few days, not for our kids, because they seem to, recover because they're kids. For both me and Rabbi Micah, our knees have been hurting, our backs have been hurting. It was physically exhausting. But that hand component of heart, head, hand, body made it well worthwhile. And that reminder of us not being alone here in America, I hope that the cheers and cries could be heard all the way in Israel. The refrain from the march was Am Yisrael Chai, the Jewish people live. I want to add one more song of action, reminders that we are not alone and that we can make a difference. It's an older Israeli song. Maybe some of you remember it from your childhood. You can find the words in our prayer book on, I can find it. You have it there?
348.
348. Ani ve'ata, you and I can change the world. Feel free to check out the English as well.
אני ואתה נשנה את העולם אני ואתה, אז יבואו כבר כולם. המועצת קודם לפניי, זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נעשה התחלה. יהיה לנו רע, אין דבר זה לא נורא. המועצת קודם לפניי, זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. You and I, we can change, we'll change the world.
And I just want to add, also just very glad, Aidan, you were in Israel during the attacks, correct? And supposed to attend the music festival, but somehow did not. So we are especially glad that Aidan made it back safely. Perhaps during the Oneg, you'll share more about what that was like for you. So we are going to move into our concluding prayers and blessings. Speaking of the Oneg, thank you so much to Paul Greenberg and Renee Goldberg for sponsoring the Oneg this evening in memory of Paul's mother, Libby. And tomorrow morning, you can join our lay-led minyan here at 9 a.m. in the library. You can also rock out with me and Aidan, 9:30 for Todd Shabbat. I have to say, it's going to be a lot of fun because this is like Aidan with adults, so you know. We're going to be having a lot of fun with the little kids here, 9:30. Right. And of course, Shorashim this Sunday morning, we have an opportunity, a parent coffee hosted by our member connections as well as the Temple's softball team, opportunity to come out and meet people. Read your weekly shofar for everything else. I will say, if you saw in your email, the Temple has launched a new security fund this week, so read your email, and any support is welcome. And next Shabbat evening, Rabbi Mike and I will be traveling for Thanksgiving. Our rabbinic intern, Elisheva Pripas, will be here leading the service. So if you're here, come out and lend Ellie some support and add your voices. Thanksgiving service, yes. Yeah. So,
Can I just mention that on the Monday after Thanksgiving, the 27th, there is the forum in Dedham on anti-Semitism.
yes. Thank
Sponsored by the Dedham Human Rights Commission. It's at Dedham Middle School.
Yes, and actually the information is going to be in our weekly shofar email because they reached out to me to share it with our community. So yes, thank you. Oh yes, Interfaith Thanksgiving service. Thank you, Rabbi Zub. Again, I'm just like a little tired. It did take. We got back at 1:30 by the a.m. Tuesday night. So, Interfaith Thanksgiving service at the Episcopal Church in Medfield Tuesday evening at 7:00. All are welcome, and thank you to Rabbi Zub for representing Beth David at that service. Is there a theme this year? I didn't see. No, Thanksgiving. Okay. All right. First, because it's been so busy here and a lot going on, I was remiss at offering September and October birthday blessings. So we're going to do a collective fall birthday blessing. Anyone who has celebrated or is celebrating a birthday September, October, November, come on up because you deserve a blessing. I will say, as many of you know, November is the birthday month for my family. Rabbi Micah celebrated his birthday on the road last Monday, and our boys will be this coming Monday, the 20th. Okay, come on over. This is everyone. So we're going to just at least say your month. What month? October, November, October, November, September. All right, so see, we've got everyone here. All right. For all of you in the fall, first of all, you celebrate birthdays during lots of Jewish holidays. Also, days becoming a little bit darker. Hopefully with your birthdays, you are able to celebrate, add some more light in the fall. And of course, fall is also a time of beautiful colors. So this birthday blessing for all of you in the fall is an especially colorful blessing. Eternal our God, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with special gratitude to share in the happiness of all of these temple members who are celebrating their birthday. O Holy One, be with them now and always. Bless them with health and happiness and strength. As we honor all of you for the gifts that you bring to this sacred community, we pray that you will also receive many gifts surrounding your birthday and continue to give your gifts, the gift of another life, another year of life, to those who surround you. Join in the blessing of Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Mazel tov on another year. Yom Huledet Sameach. Happy birthday. I'm going to invite everyone to rise as we add our prayer for the state of Israel. Page 259. Avinu Shabashamayim, Sor Yisrael v'goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Geulatenu, Hagen Aleha be'efrat chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha v'amitcha l'rasheha, Sareha v'yoatzeha, V'taknein be'etza tova milfanecha, V'natata shalom ba'aretz, V'simchat olam liyoshveha, V'nomar. Amen. We turn now to page 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu ki goyei haratzot, velo samanu
kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, V'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar, Ya Adonai, lemelech kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, ushemo echad. And we remain standing and turn now to page 294 as we turn our thoughts to memory and loved ones who are no longer with us. We are especially remembering for the period of Shloshim for these recent weeks, Mary Lou Hole and member of our temple community, and Edith Ritzenberg, mother of Jeremy Ritzenberg. We are remembering these loved ones whose yahrzeit, whose anniversary of death occurred this week. Miriam Atkins, Susan Barkin, Anna Bloom, Morton Bornstein, Greta Brun-Kessler, Lawrence Kaplan, Leona Cohen, Gussie Fishman, Kurt Glazer, Libby Greenberg, George Holliner, Stephen Kravitz, Sarah Lieber, Ruth London, Ida D. Marks, Barbara Popper, Bess Raskind, Ann Schwartz, Stanley Sherman, Das Wellens. If there are others that you are remembering, you may share their names. We join together as we bless the source of all life. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. Ve'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mevorach leolam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We're going to add our blessings for Kiddush and Motzi, anticipating our oneg, page 5, and then we will conclude with one more prayer for peace. I forgot to mention my connection about the makeup of the march in terms of the singers. Because of the makeup, there were only male singers in the program. So I was not expecting this, but that's was a kind of carrot to the Orthodox community who men don't listen to women sing. Anat Hoffman has talked extensively here about that issue. So again, just a reminder how wonderful it is to hear everyone's voices, and especially Aiden leading us tonight. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemase v'reishi ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz Shabbat Shalom. We'll bring it out for everyone. So there's just too many good melodies for Oseh Shalom, our final prayer for peace. So we decided in talking today that it's going to be Aiden's choice, a surprise for me, and you get to pick your own keys.
I always appreciate when people let me pick my keys. My old teacher did it. Oseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom B'Roma Hu Yaseh Shalom Hu Yaseh Shalom Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Voices be Roma. Oh, sing louder now. Oh, Yaseh, Yaseh. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
Shabbat Shalom.